Welcome to our next Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Today we're headed up to Greenfield Village for the second of 3 parts of our tour of this historic village and outdoor museum located in Dearborn, Michigan. Greenfield Village was established by Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motor Company, in 1929. The purpose of the village is to preserve and showcase examples of American life and innovation from the late 17th through the 19th centuries. In this video, again, this is the second part. You can go back through the playlist and see the other parts. We're going to be taking a look at some historic homes. Adding a touch of charm, this covered bridge serves to safeguard its wooden trusswork from the elements, thereby prolonging the structure's lifespan. Constructed in 1832 by Joshua Ackley and Daniel Klaus, the Ackley-covered bridge spanning Wheeling Creek was once situated in southwestern Pennsylvania. As we will see with many of the other buildings and structures today, Henry Ford acquired this bridge, rescued it from demolition, and relocated it here to Greenfield Village. An example of one of the homes that we'll see here on this tour is the Edison homestead. Following the American Revolution, Thomas Edison's great-grandparents chose to relocate to Canada due to their allegiance to the British cause. Establishing a farm, Edison's grandparents erected a home on Canadian soil. During his childhood, Edison cherished his visits to the farm, where he engaged in playful activities within the barn, took refreshing swims, and often indulged in fishing expeditions along a nearby river. This is just one of over 80 historic buildings, including what we saw in our first video, the Wright Brothers shop, Thomas Edison's Menlo Park Laboratory, as well as the courthouse where Abraham Lincoln practiced law. Inside, we can explore, and we'll see as we go through this tour, explore these buildings and look at various experiences and aspects of American history as well as innovation. This home is part of the Susana Plantation. In the decades before and after the Civil War, Henry Carroll possessed ownership of this Tidewater, Maryland house. Characteristic of the warm and humid climate, the house followed a common design, being one room deep and featuring inviting porches to harness the cooling breezes. By 1860, Carroll actively cultivated tobacco and wheat as lucrative cash crops on what was once an expansive 700-acre plantation. The labor and expertise of 65 enslaved African Americans played a pivotal role in sustaining the Carroll's lifestyle during this period.
If you actually if you compare the other rooms though to this, you'll notice that there's big differences in how it's first of all decorated. It's really not decorated at all. Why are you holding my coffee? Do you normally pick up other people's drinks? So you notice that there's nothing adorning the walls, that it's kind of decorative. It's all very utilitarian items in here, strictly to get tasks done. Very little furniture. So.
What's up there, a little pantry or something?
Yeah, it would have been a pantry. So this would have been the staircase that the enslaved workers would use for the most part. There's another staircase that the Carroll family would use. Neither staircase are great by today's standards, but that is more normal. This one, when you climb up it, the higher you climb, the lower the ceiling gets. It is, when you consider that somebody would have had to go up and down that multiple times a day carrying stuff, it's crazy. And then that would have led to crawl spaces from this side anyway, to get to the side with the bedrooms. And that was by design, so, if you needed to change linens and whatnot as a slave person, you
Cool. The Plimpton House was built around 1700. This house has a single room with a loft, and its construction was centered around a pivotal circular chimney that was first erected, and then the building was constructed around it. This architectural approach was particularly strategic, providing essential warmth during the unforgiving New England winters. The lifestyle of the early colonists in the Plimpton House was marked by the constant necessity to produce or craft the various items they required for daily life, leaving them little time for indulging in luxuries. As you can see here inside the reproduction of some of the materials inside the house, very little ornamentation. Most everything is just practical use.
For me to do the sign.
Did Annie give thee leave to speak so, Sarah? This bold carriage ill becometh thee.
Considered to be the oldest windmill in the United States, the Ferris windmill traces its origins to the mid-1600s and once functioned on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. Operated by the Ferris family for 3 consecutive generations, beginning in 1782, the windmill harnessed the power of the wind to set its sails in motion, driving the internal grain milling machinery. Notably, a stone first floor was later added at Greenfield Village, contributing to the windmill's historical legacy. In the 1760s, similar to fellow farm families in northeastern Connecticut, the Daggetts were self-sufficient, crafting and cultivating many of their necessities. Samuel Daggett, in addition to his role as a farmer, also distinguished himself as a house builder and furniture maker. The architectural style of this house that we're seeing here, the Daggett house, followed the characteristic saltbox form prevalent in New England during that era. It features a distinctive short roof in the front as well as a longer one in the back, which exemplifies the prevailing housing design in New England at that time. We're now heading to what's called the Cotswold Forge. This forge was owned by the Stanley family, who held the esteemed role of blacksmiths in the Cotswold village of Snowshill dating back to at least 1795. The blacksmithing business was a family affair, passing down through generations until it came to a close in 1909 with the passing of Charles Stanley. Blacksmiths in this era specialized in crafting tools and hardware from iron. As the forge neared its cessation in 1909, the majority of the work shifted towards the repair of factory-made items, reflecting the changing landscape of craftsmanship at that time. Today, this forge that came from the Cotswold area of England remains an operating blacksmith shop.
And in terms of the trade's place in the community, even the tiniest village or settlement needed the services of a blacksmith to make essential items.
At the original site of where the Cotswold Cottage was brought from, this barn and stable served crucial functions. It primarily was a barn dedicated to the storage and threshing of grain. Its spacious design, which features wide doors and high ceilings, allowed for efficient threshing with a flail or convenient storage of carts. The round turreted building that we see next to the stable is a dovecote. Dovecotes were typically reserved for privileged landlords and were designed to attract roosting birds. As we head into the Cotswold Cottage itself, this cottage was built in 1619 and was originated in the picturesque Cotswold Hills in southwest England. The Fords, Henry and Clara Ford, were drawn to the unique charm of many of the Cotswold buildings, especially the use of yellow brownstone, the towering gables, steeply pitched roofs, and elaborate stone embellishments that adorned the windows and doors. This home once belonged to the Giddings family. A prosperous merchant involved in the West Indies trade, John Giddings, along with his wife and 5 children, resided in this residence. Constructed in 1751 in Exeter, New Hampshire, this grand house reflected the prevailing architectural style of upscale New England homes during its time. The layout followed a typical design with a multifunctional hall and parlor on the first floor, while the upper level
Balance and
featured two
symmetry evident in
bedrooms.
the design of this house
John
are
Geddes'
characteristic of the
Giddings'
Georgian style
home
of
stood as a
architecture
testament to
popular in
both the
England and the
success in
colonies during
trade
this time.
as well as the architectural norms of affluent households in 18th century New England.
5 fireplaces that heated the rooms and provided a heat source for cooking in the kitchen. The hall, or keeping room, on your left, was designed to accommodate the informal daily activities of the family. It contains a number of furnishings in the Queen Anne style, popular during the mid-1700s. On your right is the parlor, or best room, which was used for entertaining and other special occasions. This room is currently furnished with reproductions.
In their later years, Noah Webster and his wife Rebecca commissioned the construction of this comfortable home in New Haven, Connecticut. The decision was motivated by a desire to be close to family and friends, as well as the convenient proximity to the library that Noah Webster used at Yale College. It was in this residence that Webster achieved a significant milestone, publishing his renowned work, The American Dictionary of the English Language, in 1828. This groundbreaking dictionary marked the first systematic attempt to capture uniquely American words and spellings, showcasing Webster's commitment to shaping the linguistic identity of the United States.
Hi guys, welcome to Noah Webster's house. So we are in the day parlor together here. The fancy parlor is what everybody just peeked in briefly. And now you're seeing that they're going to have a nice dinner. And we talked about how his wife was pinching pennies. She doesn't have matching glasses. She doesn't have matching chairs. It's a big fancy house, but she's really not a fancy lady, nor is he a fancy guy. So Noah and Rebecca liked having the family over, but they really didn't like entertaining anymore. When you go, is everybody in your group?
No, there's Friday.
Some more people coming in?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I've got air. Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Yep, you'll tell.
Did he not make, did he, dictionary did not make, was not done then?
No, the dictionary was not wealth that he ever realized.
Okay.
He realized his wealth from the Blueback Speller, which was the very first children's textbook before the McGuffey Reader.
Wow.
And he sold over 10,000 of those, and they're still in print. So he did very, very well with that, and he wrote a lot of other books, and he actually revised the King James version of the Bible. And, oh yeah, you'll see a lot of his writings in a collection upstairs. It's really cool. But no, he did not, because when he published it, it was a 2-volume book, or book set, that cost $25. So add a couple of, zeros on. I mean, it was really, really super expensive. And then when Miriam bought the family out, it was fast. So,
There's lights on these stairs.
Zuerst das Ding ist das Bett anwärmen. Zuerst das Ding mit dem Stab unten drunter. Dann Bettchen schnell rollen oder heiße Steine drin da. Das runter drin, dann hast du das Bett mit danach gehängt.
Bettflasche ist da.
Ja, die ist dann nicht noch rasiert. Mit dem ist das Bett angewärmt. Mami, nein, du kannst das hier Mami, gib das hier ja.
In the early 19th century, Americans sought inspiration from classical Greece to shape their national identity, a sentiment that extended to architectural design with many structures modeled after Greek temples. This house, constructed in the early 1830s, stands as a notable specimen of the Greek Revival style. Its architectural elements reflect the influence of Greek temples on American aesthetics during that period. Henry Ford was so enamored with this house that he chose it to represent the Greek Revival style in Greenfield Village, showcasing its significance as a symbol of the nation's architectural heritage. Luther Burbank was a prominent American plant breeder, naturalist, and author. He was born in this house that was constructed around 1800 in Lancaster, Massachusetts. Despite attending local schools in Lancaster, a significant portion of his knowledge about nature and plant life was acquired through avid reading at the public library. Burbank gained renown for his pioneering experiments with plants, fruits, and vegetables, leaving an indelible mark on the field of horticulture with his innovative contributions. Enslaved African Americans are responsible for the construction and habitation of this brick quarters on the Hermitage Plantation, which was situated just a little bit north of the city of Savannah in the rice-growing region of South Carolina. Owned by Henry McAlpin, the plantation thrived in 1850 with approximately 200 enslaved workers residing in around 50 similar structures. This labor force confined to these quarters engaged in such diverse activities as cultivating rice, manufacturing bricks, making cast iron products, as well as lumber. The Hermitage Plantation stands as a historical site reflecting the complex and challenging lives of enslaved individuals during this period. Originally situated in Lawrenceville, Pennsylvania, the town of composer Stephen Foster's birth, this house was relocated to Springfield Village in 1934. It was originally thought to have been Foster's birthplace, but was later identified as a different structure. Now inside is the Sounds of American Gallery that houses a venue for showcasing a diverse collection of musical instruments. Situated on a steep bank overlooking a tributary of the Mohawk River just outside Schenectady, New York, this cabin served as a retreat for Charles Protas Steinmetz. In contrast to the high-tech environment of the General Electric laboratories where Steinmetz spent his work week, the cabin exuded simplicity. It functioned as a peaceful space for quiet study and writing, while also serving as the venue for lively weekend camp gatherings with selected friends and co-workers. Steinmetz worked for the General Electric Company for most of his career, where he made significant contributions to the understanding and application of alternating current electricity, or AC power systems. Born in 1878, George Matthew Adams came into the world in a humble Baptist parsonage nestled within a lively rural village. Renowned for his column, which was called Today's Talk, which graced newspapers nationwide, Adams drew inspiration from his religious upbringing. The uplifting and inspirational tone of his writings resonated with the common American. Raised by his parents, both deeply committed to strong morals, Adams' father, a Baptist minister, instilled in their 5 children the values that would shape their lives. Constructed at Greenfield Village in 1934, the McGuffey School was built using barn logs that originated from the 1790 southwestern Pennsylvania farmstead where the renowned textbook author William Holmes McGuffey was born. In frontier communities, children acquired the skill of reading in humble schoolhouses like this. McGuffey's eclectic readers played a pivotal role in providing a simple and standardized method for these young learners to acquire literacy. This school stands as a historical representation of early American education, reflecting the rustic and foundational aspects of frontier learning environments. In the 1870s, this unassuming farmhouse served as the residence of John B. Chapman and his wife Susie. Chapman, a local educator, taught multiple terms in one-room schoolhouses within their rural community. One of their most notable pupils was a young Henry Ford. In addition to his role as a teacher, Chapman engaged in various tasks throughout the year, working as a farmhand, serving as a cooper, crafting barrels for the benefit of local farmers.
Male teachers, who were generally paid more than female teachers, were thought better able to handle these older students. John Chapman taught school for several terms and was remembered more for his ability to maintain order than for his teaching skills. Henry Ford loved his teacher, and when Chapman later moved to the neighboring Miller School, Henry followed.
Exemplifying the Scots-Irish log construction prevalent in the densely forested region of southwestern Pennsylvania during the late 1700s, this log home holds historical significance. Anna and Alexander McGuffey resided in this dwelling for 5 years, raising 3 children before relocating westward to Ohio. Notably, their second child, William Holmes McGuffey, achieved renown for creating the widely popular eclectic readers, which became a staple for frontier school children, influencing education and literacy during that era. In 1942, Henry Ford constructed this cabin as a tribute to his friend, the esteemed agricultural scientist George Washington Carver. The design of the cabin was inspired by Carver's memories of the slave cabin in Missouri where he was born in 1864. Carver dedicated his career to the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, championed the cultivation of new crops, particularly peanuts, with the aim of benefiting both southern farmers and the soils of the region. This cabin stands as a symbol of respect and recognition for George Washington Carver's significant contributions for agricultural science as well as sustainable farming practices. Between 1840 and 1847, Abraham Lincoln practiced law in this location inside this building as a traveling lawyer. Making periodic visits, usually once or twice a year, he focused on resolving cases related to disputes over land, contracts, and debts among local residents. Lincoln's practice as a traveling lawyer allowed him to build connections and familiarity with the people in the communities he served. Notably, he consistently took time to engage in conversations with individuals, a practice that contributed to his gaining popularity and later votes when he ventured into politics. I hope you've enjoyed this second part of our Wandering Walks of Wonder tour through Greenfield Village. Make sure to look at that playlist and hit the subscribe button so that you can see not only this part, but as well as parts number 1 and 3 that you can find inside this channel. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Take care now. Bye-bye.